I hate being right. Hey, it's Rachel. Today I'm discussing Kung Fu Season 2, Episode 13, aka the finale. So this was a rough one. We start the episode where the previous one left off. So Russell's rung the bell, and he's opened the portal to this spirit realm, and then Nikki and Jalon decide to chase after him. Um, as you can probably expect in a storyline like this, Nikki and Jalon get separated, and Jalon finds her mom in this realm. And oh, it hurts so much. It's so obvious that Jalon loved her mom more than anything else, and this is her first time seeing her in like 20 years. And then their talk just immediately starts making Jalon feel guilty because she truly thought revenge was like the right thing to do, and her mom's telling her it wasn't, so it's like her whole life has been a lie. And then when her mother brings up Pei Ling, and Jalon starts crying, and then she confesses that she killed her, like, I'm heartbroken. But as much as I hate that Jalon had to endure that rejection from her mother, like, I can't blame her mom for that reaction. Because generally speaking, murder should be an unforgivable act. Like, regardless of how much you care for the other person, it should be an act that makes you break ties. But the fact that Jalon really thought it was the right thing, I'm just, it hurts so fucking much. Shortly after that devastating scene, Nikki finds Jalon again. And this was probably my favorite scene. Because Nikki vocalizes, well, she reiterates that Jalon can still change and that the terrible things Jalon may have done in the past don't define who she is. And then she offers forgiveness. And it's something Jalon needed in that moment because she's just lost the thing that was most important to her. So she needed to hear that there was still hope for her. So after that conversation, as Nikki and Jalon are now back to tracking down Russell, who has now reached the source of Zhao's power, Mia suddenly wakes up in the real world. And okay, I know we have to suspend disbelief and get on board with some wild stuff on this show, but Russell drained her blood. Like, Russell completely drained her body of blood. I don't care how magical she is. She should not be able to stand, much less fight, with zero medical attention. Like, I do like that she could sense something was wrong, likely because the fact that she's the combination of warrior and guardian bloodlines. So, like, I like the idea that she's, like, more in tune and more sensitive to the magic. But, like, I was just rolling my eyes at her literally coming to Nikki and Jalon's rescue. Like, this is ridiculous. She should be passed out. She should be passed out. Like, it really just felt forced because she was the only character who knew about the dagger since Russell used it on her, and they needed some kind of object against Russell. But, like, come on. It was obscene. So now we get to where the finale made me mad. So, as I just mentioned, Mia joins Nikki and Jalon in the fight against Russell, but Nikki has the realization that Russell is too powerful for them to kill him, and so someone has to stay behind while the door between these two worlds closes. Nikki gives an emotional goodbye to Mia, even though we all know Nikki is not going to be the one to stay behind, and Jalon starts to leave with Mia, but she quickly sees Nikki struggling to fight Russell, and she steps in, pushes Nikki out of the way, and sacrifices herself. And I knew it. I knew we were going here. I hate that I predicted this. So Jalana sacrifices herself, I'm sure in part as an act of atonement, but it's also very much like Nikki inspiring her with all this talk of like she can still change, she's still able to save herself. And like Jeanne sacrificing herself is a good character beat. Like I'm into it in theory, but the execution of this decision made me so mad. Like beyond her death scene, her sacrifice had no effect on anyone. Like Nikki doesn't even acknowledge that the only reason she's alive is because this sacrifice. She doesn't say anything to her parents, she doesn't say anything to her siblings. And this lack of acknowledgement honestly kind of makes her speech to Jeanne feel kind of hollow. Like, Jeanne had this completely selfless moment of bravery and no one cared. She gets no real thanks for her sacrifice. And, like, of course she would sacrifice herself. Like, she's lost everything she cares about in the past few hours. Like, she finds Mia nearly dead. Like, literally 5 minutes later, she finds that Russell has killed Kerwin and is now inhabiting his body. And then, like, 10 minutes after that, she's rejected by her mother. Like, I'm sick. These were her last hours before she died. Like, what the hell? And then to make matters worse, in the aftermath of all of this, Henry and Nikki kind of like agree to take a break in their relationship because he's processing his father's death. And then the episode ends with like this sappy montage of him and Nikki as if we don't know they're gonna get together like really quickly next season. Like, I don't know, maybe put this amount of effort into acknowledging the character that just sacrificed herself for all of you. Like, maybe give that more gravity than a breakup that's going to be mended in probably 5 or 6 episodes. Like, also, in my opinion, Henry's dead, like, his death did not get enough weight. Because, like, he and Henry spent, what, like 15 years estranged? And it just feels like a disservice to Henry to, like, have them make up after all this time apart, and then he dies after, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months and then reconnecting. Like, it's just cruel. But yeah, this season was a lot. I don't really know how else to explain the season as a whole. Hopefully, if you made it to the end of this video, you've enjoyed listening to my thoughts, and perhaps you'd be interested in checking out some of our other videos. As of right now, it's pretty much just other reviews, but I do have ideas for some stuff that'd be a little bit different. Like, I'm planning to do some character tier lists for some stuff I watch, because I just think that'd be a fun thing to do, especially since there's a lot of stuff I watch that I haven't been doing reviews for. So it'd be a way for me to talk about some other things that aren't CW shows. No hard feelings if you aren't interested in my other stuff and you want to part ways now that the season is over. Thank you so much to anyone who returned for all of these, because I think I reviewed 6 or 7 episodes of the season. And it means a lot that you were interested in my ramblings enough to come back and check me out again. Hopefully I'll catch you guys soon for season 3, if not anything else. And bye.